is also the closing ceremony of e-business conclave 2020. So be excited to know more about what happens during business, or what what are the opportunities that you have to grow. How can you lead a successful business? So all these different aspects of business and life will be answered by Mr. Manvendra Singh. But before he presents his presentation, I'd like to read out a little bit of detail about his work that he's been doing. Mr. Manvendra sir has been driving change and growth across various industries, including FMCG, beverages, dairy, etc. He has helped in the establishment of the company's vision in the country and has made it a stronghold for the future sustainable and profitable businesses. He has been coming up through the ranks. He's versatile, accomplished professional, with sales and marketing being his forte. He's led the team from the front and not only created businesses, but also some world-class organizations which today are representing the organization in headquarters. I believe his profile has so many things, so many glories, which I won't be able to explain in the next few minutes, but I'm pretty sure that during this conversation, we're going to learn a lot from him. So I'd like to first request Mr. Manvendra sir to kindly start off with his keynote address.
Thanks a lot, Vishnu. And thanks a lot, Lovely Professional University, for inviting me. It's a great pleasure to be with such young leaders of future. I've been personally a very big fan of Lovely Professional University since the time the campus was built. And it has become a very big brand, at least in North India, definitely in India as well. Now, I understand during this pandemic time, everyone is under lockdown, lots of digitalization is happening, and lots of webinars and calls and speeches are happening. But don't worry, this is the last one of this session. And I will try to keep it general and bit more relevant, because I understand all the different people from different streams are joining today. And I will try to summarize what you've been going through in different sessions, in different discussions. Now, the flow will be very simple. I will quickly take you through some of the things which I've been doing, what I believe in, because what I understand is, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay, so when I see you guys, I go back a couple of years, and I was also a student trying to understand from the industry, from the experiences, and now I take pride in sharing some of those best practices and putting myself into your shoes, that what definitely matters a lot. Technical knowledge, technical things will be there. But if I have to summarize my 22 years of experience, and if I have to go back on the drawing board, what all things I will keep in my mind. So some of the bullets I will talk today. And I've asked Vishnu to encourage some questions in between. If you can't do in between, at least at the end of session. So it will help me to gauge. So I was going through your site, and think big came on top of my mind. This is your mantra. Believe me, it's a very, very meaningful, very powerful, very impactful statement. Think big. Because if you think big, you get big. Now, with this mantra in line, I started my career, and it's been 22 years across the industry, from stationery, from alcobev to tobacco to dairy, FMCG. Been taking pride in working with world's best companies and best brands. And all this came up from the ranks. I was not chosen from the top. It came all the time from bottom up. And what are the things which is making it happen? So what fundamental remains same is your passion, your drive to learn new things, to share your best practices. If you have that, you can excel in whichever stream you want to choose for. So I would encourage my young leaders, since you have already spent some time today to attend this call, this is your time to take an opportunity and understand what is exactly your passion, right? I was just understanding from your colleagues what are the different sessions you've already gone through. There are lots of good speakers talking about startups, talking about leadership, talking about diversity, how to overcome this pandemic. That is all fine, but there are too many people in the campus. So first of all, you are unique and you need to identify yourself what is ideal for you. And once you have started identifying your own sword, you have to narrow down and make it happen, believe it happen every single day. This is something to summarize because Vishnu, I understand there are lots of streams attending today, so I'm just trying to make it applicable to everyone. Now, once that is happening, you have to believe in yourself. You don't have to worry about your trajectory comparing with others. You are unique, but you need to identify what exactly suits you best, what you definitely want to do. Your parents have been very kind enough. You have come in your career so far. Now, this is just the last stop before you come on this side of the table and start working and start contributing to the society in a much bigger manner. But as a student, this is your last leg to still keep on learning and expanding your horizon. And this is where you'll have to be honest. You have to understand what you definitely need for. Now, one of the lab experiment, which is very close to my heart. In fact, this was my first experiment of life. When we were in junior schools, there was an experiment that you take a magnifying lens, you take a piece of paper, and in the middle of the afternoon, if you focus with the sun, the corner of the paper, tip of the paper will start burning. It's very close to me, that experiment, and that I want to emphasize as the art of focus. Now, since you have identified what you want to do, your passion, you are confident about yourself, you believe in yourself, now you'll have to keep focusing every day, every single moment, and you will start finding that flame which you were looking for, you yourself can create. On the same time, I will very quickly just trying to touch base on some of the bullet points, and then I will go back to the normal professional career and how it works in the corporate life. But these are the operating system which can be established now. And for me, these things are the most important because this can't be changed later on. And if you have this, getting the new skills and getting the new techniques will become easy. So I can see there's lots of peer pressure and lots of competition these days, and somewhere we are missing the bigger picture and we are taking life too seriously. I would say take a step back, have an emotional balance. It's not about the destination, it's also about the journey. Enjoy your each single day. I'm not saying that you will not create a big future, but don't compromise your present. If you are living your present properly, your future definitely will be fine. So some of the things like self-awareness, self-regulation, keeping yourself motivated, having empathetic, social skills, these are the soft skills which will definitely help you to understand life better. Now, I was talking about lots of comparison, be it from CBSE 10th class standard result to 12th class result, parents shouting on top of it, my kid secured 98.6 percentage. That is fine. I'm not denying people have put lots of effort in it and they should boast, but that doesn't mean anything to you. Because whatever you are, no one else can implicate that. You are unique and you should take pride of being in your own orbit. Nature has created you something for a bigger thing. Don't try to be someone else. Try to identify your own self and create something. Coming out of comfort zone. So I'm from a very small town in North India called Allahabad. And from day one, I was very clear that after inculcating all the basic knowledge, I would be out of my comfort zone. I'll keep hopping, I'll keep learning, I'll keep seeing new countries, new continents, new industries. Because if you get stuck with one thing, you are very good in that, but then you are restricting your growth. So I'm encouraging you to challenge yourself. Whenever you think you are doing very well in something, something is missing now. You have to start coming out of your comfort zone and you need to create. Now, these are very bold mantras. It sounds very theoretical, but as I told you, that 22 years ago, I was a student like you. I was listening. And believe me, all the technical jargons which I was told, I don't remember. But some of these things I still remember, and I picked that and kept on harnessing. And till date, I'm still a student, I'm still learning. And now I'm just trying to share with you. It will become very interesting if you will agree or disagree with some of my opinions, because then we can build it up the conversation. It should not be a monologue. Let's make it a bit more participative as the time comes. Now we are seeing lots of new technologies. See, under lockdown, people are still talking to so many people. This is a tremendous potential, and we should be open enough. We should be open enough to understand it even better now. So you have to keep expanding your horizon and keep yourself equipped how to adapt with the new technological age. You've just seen how TikTok has been banned and there's a vacuum. So these are the times when we need to identify as a student that what am I going to learn and how am I going to contribute. It's not about growth, but it's also about sustainable growth overall as a 360 degree, be it with the environment, with ecology, be it with yourself, be it with your society. Your personality needs to grow. It's not about career. Don't be a careerist, but try to create something which is long-term sustainable, and it's simple. And I will tell you later how these I'm just bombarding with some of the bullet words, which has become my style of life now. And at the same time, I'm talking about futurology. There are multinationals, there are companies who have stopped working on their current practices. They are already working on 20 years ahead. These are the technology which we have to start thinking. You are a leader for today, but that doesn't mean you'll be leader 5 years down the line. So how well we are equipping as an organization, same holds true as an individual. So as an individual, what are you trying to invest in yourself so that you will be well adapted for the new models? Otherwise, the old models are getting obsolete very fast nowadays. Now, when you will be taking all this comfort zone and coming out of your comfort zone and trying out something new, making yourself sustainable growth, there are bound to be some mistakes. Don't be apprehensive about it. Learn from your mistakes, and things will become slowly and steadily very easy. I was reading in all the newspapers, articles, very close to your university, you guys were able to start even seeing the Everest, the entire Himalayan range, not Everest, but entire Himalayan range. So let's take this opportunity of this crisis. Let's let it not go waste. Let's learn from it. It's something to reboot the year 2020. Let's understand what we as a humans were busy doing with. We have gone through a lot of advancement in past 2 decades. And now again, post this corona and pandemic will be over, we are sure that we will come back to bounce back. But how best we can learn from this? If society needs a clean air, how can we contribute? Be it as an individual, be it as an enterprise, be it as a startup. What are the things? And the things which I was talking about, motivation and all, my personal belief is if you are taking energy from the nature, you are having a harmony with nature, you are already on top of it, you are ready to give your best. So I'm a very big fan of these bullet words, and I hope some people are taking note of it and they are not very sure what am I trying to convey. And if they will come up with some questions, that will be even better because then I'll elaborate a bit more. Also, the time, sorry.
So there is a question from one of the participants. The question is that, do you ever think about people who judge you of the career choices that you make? What do you do with people who judge you because of the career choices that you make? That's the question.
Excellent. At least someone is looking about my industries. This is why I was taking you with my following slides, because to be very honest with you, it doesn't matter to me what others think about me, how they judge me. It is their prerogative. I'm in my own orbit and I'm enjoying my journey. I should be better than yesterday. That's all what matters. Yeah, as I told you, I'm coming from a small town. We are still very conservative society. So when parents and their society, their colleagues come to know that आपका लड़का cigarette बेच रहा है, शराब बेच रहा है, so it's not a very glamorous thing. But I will not blame anyone because they have not been exposed to all these things, what I am doing. But I should be confident what I am doing. And believe me, I'm having a big passion towards my consumers, and I'm providing them the choices. I'm not encouraging them with anything new that form a habit. But if they have a habit, I'm providing them a good experience with the good choices. And this is why it keeps me ticking. I always try to learn from different industry. At the same time, the fundamental remains same. Your sales discipline, your managerial capability, your people-driven style, your process orientation will help you to come to the boardroom. And coming to the boardroom is not that difficult, but now the real game starts, that what sort of a decisions you make and what sort of a team building you are doing, that makes all the difference. So coming back to the specific question, no, I've been very lucky because the minute they start interacting with me, they start falling in love with my industry and they start envying me that how swiftly I've been exposed to such a variety range of expertise.
All right, sir. I think that answers the question. So, also, sir, one thing, while you are, sir, am I audible to you?
Yeah, please go ahead.
I was saying that while you are answering the question, maybe you can switch the screen, because while you're answering the question, we still have the presentation going on. But for now, since you have answered the question, I think it's good to go with the presentation. But in future, in case we get more questions, I want you to kindly shift the screen towards your particular face as well. Is that fine, sir?
Yeah, it's absolutely fine. So what I was telling is that this is the time when we are all in digital age, but still don't give up the opportunity to read some good books. I'm not saying read these ones, but whatever motivates you, whatever is your passion, make it a habit. Try to read some books, and these are the things which keeps you motivating. So these were some of the points which I wanted to discuss with you all. And now coming back to the original flow, that why I'm here and what are we doing together. So as I was telling through these bullet points, Vishnu and everyone, that I was a small person from a small city with some very good ambitions. I was not very sure what am I going to do, how am I going to do. But one thing was always consistent: to live in the moment, be realistic to yourself. And then I started my career in 1998 from a very frontline role. I was given a managerial role in a campus, and I didn't choose for that. In fact, I went something out of blue. I went like a frontline what happens, and that helped me to understand even today how it works there. And then from there, once you have understood the basics of the fundamentals of the distribution, the marketing, the sales, the return on investment, the cash flow, how it works, then you kept on changing the industry, changing the location. But what remained common, consistent across was how well you connected with the brand, with the consumer, with the geography in a very short span of time. So I was taking my personal experience that if you are so clear and you are so passionate about the inner flame, what you have, you will start getting the right messages, right signals. Sometimes people also ask me that how come you have got so many different variety opportunities. So this is what I'm trying to tell you, that linking is possible. If you are consistent, you are following your path, you will start getting the right messages, right? And this is why one of the book which I was showing, there's a book called the Celestine Prophecy. It really made a lot of impact in my life. It talks that nothing happens in life as a coincidence. Everything is happening for a purpose. And if you can link and you can read the message, you can create a story with that. And that is all I've been doing all this while and still going on. Academically, the student life is over. Now it is more professionally. I'm still learning. I'm not very a competent person to talk about strategy and talk about, give you a lecture. But as I told you, I just want to take you through some of the very, very basic steps. It's a bigger audience today. So I've tried to keep it very general, but in future, if any particular stream, any particular specific department would like to cover some topic, I'll be more than happy to share my experience. So some of these thoughts was coming to my mind, Vishnu, this which I've shared with the audience. Now I will encourage if there are some questions.
Questions that have been asked by students. There's one question coming in from Piyush. He's asking you this question, that how do you deal with the stereotypes that have been put forth in front of you, especially in the field of hotel management?
Stereotypes in the field of hotel management.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me give you my experience. When I was in school days, my college captain, he was very aspirational for me, and I thought that, oh my God, how can student be so smart? And then later on, I was following him, and he chose hotel management. So I'm talking about 1988, 89. That was the time when this phenomena was new, and best of the best were choosing all these things. So that was my perception about hotel management, very, very high. And now in 2020, you are coming up with the questions like why there is so much of stereotype and how do you confront in hotel management. So what I'm trying to say is hotel management is a very beautiful industry. It caters hospitality. It's a very service orientation. Now, if the individual believes that his set of skills, his traits is service driven, they want to contribute in hospitality industry, then hotel management is a prerequisite. And that doesn't restrict you to get confined to a particular designation. It is just an inroad. In my career, I've selected people from hospitality management, working with some reputed hotels of the country, and then switching the industry, coming into a consumer product. And across the life span, their hospitality always came very handy for them, and it helped. So the challenge here is stereotype. That is where my slide of comfort zone comes in play. Be it hospitality, be it hotel management, or any particular trade for that matter, that is the handicap when you confront with the stereotypes where they've been used to working in a particular manner, in a particular phase, that is not which is going to last. You have to evolve. You have to build on your strengths. You have got some really nice strengths from hotel management, but now you'll have to build it with the real management, the MBAs, and then how your organization works, how your profitability works, how your industry works. You have to broaden your horizon. That prerequisite, which you guys are doing in Lovely University as a course, is a prerequisite. That's it. But that doesn't mean your growth, your learning will stop. You'll have to keep on augmenting, inculcating every single day something related to your industry. And coming back to your question, the answer is very simple. They get stuck. They just follow the lead. They don't stand out. And you don't have to get trapped by it. Good luck to them. But you have to learn. You have to grow. You have to challenge the status quo. And there is some really great innovations happening in that particular industry. Your hotel management, your hospitality industry can be very handy for you to become as a future leader.
All right, sir. We have the next question coming in from Angela Mahajan. She's asking this question: what all challenges you have faced when you were working with the company Diageo?
So Diageo, this is world's biggest liquor company. They produce brands like Johnny Walker, Smirnoff, VAT 69, Black and White, and now they have also acquired the USL, United Spirits Limited. It's one of the biggest company in India also. So as you can see from my industry, I was in a stationery industry, and in stationery, there were two range. I was representing Faber-Castell. This was a German multinational which entered the market, and we used to have two range. One was called Red Range for kids, for which you have to go to the schools and art teacher and the stationers. And on one side, there was a Green Range, which is for the corporate clientele, your highlighters and all the other technical engineering stuff. Now, coming from that background of stationery, I was chosen for Diageo, and Diageo was not able to crack the most populous state of the country called Uttar Pradesh. And I took that as a challenge that I will enter the market with the company. I will establish the brand, the registration, the alliance with the government, because it's very regulated market. You have to take all the permission. But that self-belief and that passion that whichever stream I will choose, it's a consumer product. I'm providing consumers the best choice, and it is the road less traveled. So let me only crack this. And believe me, these type of a greenfield projects starting from scratch gives me a very good kick. It makes me feel that, okay, at least it's worth trying, and you don't have any idea what sort of a satisfaction you get. So within a short span of time, everything was turned around. People were not ready to accommodate. It was not even listed there. And just in a span of 6 months, things started moving. Once it started moving, in spite of being a dark market, as a marketeer, you are not allowed to do anything in these industries. But there are still some options available, like a switch selling or a spot selling when the consumer is coming at the point of sale. How you can communicate to them, how you can educate them, that was legally permissible. But your consistency, your vision, how exactly you can do, started getting me result. And some of the best practices during those times, there used to be cartels and people were not very sure about your brand. They have a very high expectation. But the way you created a critical mass, economy started opening. Even the restricted markets started getting the pressure from their consumers. They were open to discuss with you. And things started moving very fast. So I will say I take pride in 2001 when I launched the brand in that state, and now it's much more, very bigger. It's doing very well.
All right, sir. I think that answered the question as well. Now, I think I can ask some of my questions that I wanted to ask you, since we've been asking you the questions from the audience. The first question that
So
I
Vishnu, sorry to interrupt you. I don't want to bombard the audience with lots of slides and the jargons, but you understand what I'm trying to convey. So, on behalf of the audience, you should challenge me, you should ask me whatever comes to your mind, because then we'll be able to make it a bit more interesting rather than me making it only theoretical. So, please shoot.
definitely, sir. That was going to be my first question. Do you really believe that these theoretical mantras that we get, they actually help students in succeeding in real life? Because sometimes the practicality is completely different from theoretical aspects that we are being taught.
So, Vishnu, I believe the name stands for a lot. It's not by coincidence that your name is Vishnu. If parents have given you a name, it will start making its impression on you, right? So, as an individual, before hotel management, before engineering, before MBA, we are an individual. We have a name, right? And we have our own value system, we have our own package system. All these theoretical things are important because in the society, there is a protocol. You have to follow that. You have to get educated. You have to pass out. Then you will be in a job. Even in the job, you will start from lower positions before going to the higher positions. But what is common across is your DNA. It's a very biological terminology. I'm not trying to talk about deoxyribonucleic acid, that DNA. But I'm talking about your own uniqueness, your own DNA. That makes all the difference. So I'm not averse of all this theoretical, but I will say that is not enough. What makes the difference is you yourself. And I am not the first one who is talking this. But why you should listen to me, because forget about Manvendra Singh, who he is. But at least if he's saying that it has helped him in the last 22 years, I'll give you my experience. In my childhood, I was very careful, very cautious. You can say a very pessimistic sort of a personality. Nahi, ye to nahi hoega, mera to kuch nahi hoega. I was that sort of a person. And now, slowly, when I started learning, when I started growing, I started challenging myself. And I have become an incorrigible optimist. That kaise nahi hoega, everything is possible. Yes, but you have to be realistic. You have to know your potential, what is capable, what you are capable of. So coming back to your question, that yes, theoretical knowledge is good, but that's not enough. Theoretical knowledge has to be coupled up with your own desire, with your own inner belief. And then if I can see some faces in the audience and they are thinking कि भाई ये थोड़ा ऊपर से जा रहा है, ये बहुत ही ज़्यादा bookish knowledge hai. I am telling you, everyone has a name and there's a purpose behind that name. So Vishnu needs to believe in Vishnu. No one else will come and tell Vishnu, you are unique, you are nature's greatest miracle. That reminds me of another good book I've gone through in my life, The World's Greatest Salesman by O.G. Mendino. Now, this talks about 9 scrolls. These are like 9 prayers. And it talks, I am nature's greatest miracle. I will live the day as if it is my last. I will bear love in my heart. My enemies will become friends. All these type of prayers are there. So what I'm trying to tell you is that confidence, that belief, you'll have to keep investing in yourself, like what we are doing right now. So if there are so many people and even one of you will try to pick up, I am not the one who is going to teach you, or I have anything in my personality to educate anyone else, but no, I can at least trigger it. And if you think it connects to me, and even one of you can pick up on one of the topic, my job is done. And this is what I'm passing the baton. Because when I was in business school, I used to invite lots of visiting faculty, and there was some people who used to talk some crazy stuff, and I still remember those stuff rather than very theoretical one. So once we got India's second biggest poultry farm owner. He was creating a big impact in Indian economy in the poultry, and he says that I don't believe in all those old classic songs of Dilip Kumar, Jab Dil Hi Toot Gaya, Ab Ji Kar Kya Karenge, and he was 60 years old, and he said that my favorite song these days is I'm a Barbie doll, I'm a Barbie girl. So I didn't understand what is he trying to say. But later on, when you started making inroads in your career, you understood that why these guys were at that position what they were. Because they were different, they were not following the league, and that is where all the difference lies, Vishnu.
All right, sir. I think that's a wonderful summary that you have given for the question. Sir, the second question that I have, I think a lot of companies, they look for experience more than skills. And especially as a fresher, when you see your resume, you don't have much experience to showcase to the company. How do you convince the company about how talented and skilled you are when you are newly joining a particular company or organization?
Believe me, Vishnu, the thing which matters in interview is not your experience, is not the degrees. Those are given. I am not saying that you are applying for Prime Minister of India job. Definitely you are applying for something relevant where you can justify. But majority of the time, the trick is not on the second page. People don't even go till your second page. The trick lies in your own personality, in your appearance, in your own confidence. You yourself are not very sure about yourself. How can the company choose you? So in my career, I've selected so many people, I've taken so many interviews, and thing which stands out is that the guy knows his or her particular thing. And what the thing I observe is the willingness to learn, the passion, the creativity, because I believe everyone is unique and they have something in this. Now, if it's a complete fitment, interviews can go well. The problem is when I see so many good faces on the screen, I can see you. So, for example, if there's a name called Harshveer, or Smith, or Udayman, believe me, Udayman, Smith, and Harshveer are confining themselves, thinking that they are fresher and they are not suitable for this role. No, that is not true. Smith is such a beautiful name. He's such a nice personality. If he is going confidently, what is he trying to say? He is trying to tell that I have all the prerequisites to enter the corporate world. Give me the chance, and with my passion and excel and my dedication, the way I will turn around, he will become the biggest human resource for the organization. So he will not have to self-doubt himself. He will have to believe in himself, because once he will believe, then the other guy would start believing in him. Are you getting what I'm trying to say, Vishnu?
Yes, sir. I am.
So for example, you are an alumni from LPU and you have a gift of gab, you have pursued your career, you have interest into all these type of host and everything. But all of other people, they are not very comfortable in communication. But in interview, in 5 minutes, you have to communicate. You don't have any other option. And that day you can't prepare yourself. So every single day, you will have to see yourself in mirror and you have to self-praise yourself. So some of the slides I was talking. So for example, I spoke about this book called the Celestine Prophecy. So it is talking about one of the prophecy. It is saying there's a struggle of power when the two individuals are talking. And there is a matter of energy, the energy is flowing. And by default, what we do is we take energy out of the other one and we feel empowered. And in this process, the other person feel weakened. And then there is another way how to revive, how to rejuvenate your energy. And there's a immense energy available for all of us. That's called a universal source of energy from your sunlight, from your nature. And this is where I'm talking about harmony with nature. So what I'm trying to say, that person doesn't have to think that, oh my God, I have only this with this much of percentage, I don't have a work experience. No. If he or she is very, very realistic, that what is his strength, which company he wants to choose or which startup he wants to create, and if he believes, it starts spreading the message on the other side of the table, and it is contagious. Your positivity is infectious. There's no other option. He will have to select you. But the problem was, you failed yourself first. नहीं मेरा तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता, मेरे पास तो एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है. These guys are looking for 5 years experience. They are coming from Larsen & Toubro. बस खत्म, अब कुछ नहीं हो सकता है. So that is something which I'm just trying to make it sound simple. And I'm not a baba. I'm not talking something big, but I'm just coming from day-to-day observations. When we select, when we reject individuals, why? Otherwise, you would not have even have been invited for the interview. You are already there. Now make it or break it.
All right, sir. Sir, since you've been talking about a lot of books, even I'm a big fan of reading books. I read this book called Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. And in this book, they talked about how we as human beings, we have this tendency to dominate other people, to pull down other races, and to try to be the superior one. And I think the similar type of things, they also happen in corporate world, in companies wherein people try to compete with you so much, they try to pull you down, that they try to bring in a lot of politics. Do you think that there should be a way to tackle all these things? What should be the mindset of that individual while he's working in a company to tackle all these political challenges as well that go through certain company?
Excellent. And you are helping me to continue the discussion for 1 hour at least. Otherwise, I have disappointed you with 4 or 5 slides in 20 minutes. Now, as you rightly picked, these authors, these books, and the one which I was referring, they all are talking the same thing. It's a universal code of conduct. Every book, every author is talking the same thing. They call it a different manner, matter of energy, and overpowering each other. You are talking about this book, and then everything boils down to the society. When you are at home, how you are coping up with your family. When you are at work, how you are coping with your colleagues, your subordinate, your supervisor. But let's not forget, who is doing all this? It is you, the individual. So I can't change others, but at least I can work upon myself. I will not let myself affected by the so-called politics which you are referring. These are all excuses. I don't have time for getting into those vocabularies because that is not very productive. Now, if you will have this type of a mindset, you will less be affected by others. You will be having more time for focusing on your productive work, because at the end of the day, either you are in a own enterprise, your own venture, or you are in a corporate world. What matters is performance. And performance was coming because you were not distracted. You were so focused building your own life that you forgot about others. So when people ask question that, do others judge you? When you ask question, corporate politics, now these are all dependent on someone else. And I have decided not to give that much of importance, because that is good luck to them. They are wasting their time. It is not going to help them at all. And I'll be careful because I have to perform even better now. Otherwise, people are eyeing on you. So the point I'm trying to tell you is that Vishnu needs to become a Vishnu.
Yeah.
If he has become a Vishnu, bloody no politics can deter him and can affect him. The problem was Vishnu was busy observing the politics and not enhancing his skill, not getting ready for the future, not augmenting the new skills. This is where the dichotomy is.
All right, sir. Wonderful answer again. I am pretty much impressed by the way that you can relate the answer with a certain individual as well. So the next question that we have is from Muskan Patel. She's asking this question: how did you manage to establish a brand long back in 2003 when already the sector was held up to 70 to 80% by a giant Indian company? That's the question.
So, yeah. So what is happening that
Muskan.
you are an individual, and all you can do is you can mind your own step. So I've decided to keep walking. No one can deter me if they are 80% market share or 70% market share, because my comparison is with my previous day, not with my competition. So if I have come up with an international brand which is world number one, and only in a country like India it was not there, that doesn't mean there's any problem. The brand is great, the quality is good. Now comes the teamwork, the handful of people who can deploy those brands into a new market. So here, every small step of yours is getting noticed, and you will be crushed like anything because you don't have that muscle power as a market entrant, but there are some market leaders. So what happened is, the way I'm talking to these young professionals, I started interacting with a team of young individuals, and we charted out a strategy that David versus Goliath, we can't take head on. We have to take a guerrilla war. Let's go into clusters and let's create some critical mass. Now that is possible because India is evolving. Worldwide, the youth is looking for change. They are fed up of the routine thing, the routine brands. They are looking for something international, something class, something premium, provided it is available in their own package terms. So the service package, what we crafted, was well thought of with cities of India. Within that city, which cluster of that city, what are the different consumer profiling, who can have a better winnability with the brand. So between the sales, the distribution, and the marketing and the trade marketing, it has to be a cohesive strategy. So like you were referring, Vishnu, that when you are working in an organization, there are not only your friends, they are also your competition, which is fine. This is where the problem is, that you are not fighting the external competition, you are unnecessarily getting into your internal competition. So there is no room for ego. If you are a leader, you have to onboard everyone, and each stakeholder should understand that it is his dream. And if they start marching, I will give you another example, experiment. This experiment in resonance, that when the army used to walk on the bridge, they were not doing the proper drill, the march path, because with the sound resonance, the bridge can come down. Now, that is the power of resonance. So as a set of task force I was involved in, I created the joint responsibility, and each member of the team was working as if it's possible. And believe me, it started from 1,000 store, then it became 4,000 store, then it moved to 8,000 store, then it became to 20,000 store. I'm just talking about one city. And when you are talking with 1,000, the type of execution at retail, if you are having a brand which world needs to reckon with, you have to execute with excellence. It should stand out. And in those 1,000 stores, my consumers started noticing that this brand is served in a much premium manner than any market leader. So you started getting some inroads into the Indian consumers. They started talking, word of mouth started spreading, and 4,000 stores, 10,000 stores, 20,000 stores. That shows that if you were focusing in Delhi NCR, it also started spreading even the remote markets of North India like Jalandhar or Ludhiana. These are the satellite towns where it have a spillover effect. But how it all started was your belief in the brand, how it should be deployed on the first store. How can you convert the trade confidence? Now, if it was possible with 1,000, it was not a cakewalk. Definitely out of 4,000, maybe 3,000 would have declined your offer. That's why you chose only 1,000. But then 15 months, day in, day out, you were working like mad. And do you know what, Vishnu? Someone sitting in regional headquarters in Hong Kong, the head of Asia Pacific, started noticing your effort. You are 0.001% of the market share. How does that matter to them? They are having big markets like Japan, Australia. India is nowhere even in discussion. But you have been handpicked as the emerging talent of the organization, and you've been sent to Hong Kong in the regional headquarters to get the flavor of sales strategy and work with the president of the company, how East Asia works. On East Asia, you have a key account, which is modern trade, very well evolved. Australia has some around 94% industry in formal trade, modern trade, which you call. Two big chains like Coles, Myer, and Woolworths. In Japan, you have 7-Eleven, vending machines. In Korea, in Taiwan. Now, on one side, in Eastern Europe, Eastern Asia, you have an evolved market where science and technology, but on the same side, the same company, the same brand has a Western Asia, markets like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Philippines, right? Philippines, they call it sari store. It's like a grocer, small ones. So I will narrate an incident. When this Ram Setu was getting built, Ram was sitting on the banks of the sea, and this bridge where Hanuman crossed to the Lanka to bring the Sita, there was one squirrel. One squirrel was doing something. She used to go into the water, moist her tail, come, just rub it with the sand and bring it to the bridge. Now, what does that mean? It is said, and I totally believe in these type of examples, it is said that it was not the intensity of how much bridge you build, but the intent of that Lord Ram brought her and he waved on her. That's how you get the pattern. So what I'm trying to say is the intent, what you do. So these 2003, when the brand was new in the country, no one has a affiliation because it's a very personal product. It's not that easy to change. It's not like any soap or anything, but sheer effort every single day. And your job was done. And I was sent to Hong Kong. I was there for 1 year. I worked with 17 markets there, learned everything, came back in India and started implementing some of the best practices which was relevant for the market. And then things started moving much faster. So the company, which was on an import model, everything was getting imported from Switzerland, has started venturing out. Now you have made some good inroads through guerrilla warfare. You have some critical mass. Now local production, local manufacturing possibilities has to be explored, and it happened. But it would not have happened if Diageo would not have entered in Uttar Pradesh, or any other company would not have started from the first 1,000 stores, from first city, then second city, then third city. So all you have control is about your first step. No one can stop you to take that step. But if you believe in your first step, I'm telling you, journey is going to be very rewarding, very refreshing, and very sustainable long term.
Perfect, sir. I think each and every answer that you've been given, giving, is completely detailed, so that there is no doubt of any confusion as well. And I think that's why you are considered to be one of the most precise and perfect individual in the workplace that you are in. There is precision, there is perfection in everything that you do. And so I was...
See, Vishnu, what I'm trying to do is, these days people are fed up of all this web calls, and because of Corona, they've got nothing to do. So everyone has become a speaker, right? So I
Yeah.
don't want to bombard everyone. I'm just trying to talk as a normal human person.
Agreed.
Now, it happened with me. All these questions are leading to the right answers. If it can happen to me, it can happen to you as well,
Yeah.
right? Now, my age is 46 years. I've been working from 22 years. So you can at least learn from my mistakes. You can learn from my experience rather than you becoming 46 and then learning the same thing. So all I'm trying to implant, I'm trying to enthuse your audiences with some key words.
Yep.
And I'm sure they are much more smarter than me. They are generation next. I was the telephone era. This is the 5G era. They can connect. I'm just trying to give them some trigger points and they can build it upon that. But I'm strongly encouraging because almost it's been 1 hour they have invested their time in this conversation.
Yep.
Today, they have to go back to the drawing board if they are pursuing bachelor's in arts or engineering or management, whichever stream. They have to look behind how have they come here. Is it by default? Is it by design? Is it what they want to pursue? Spend some time on themselves and let's be honest to ourselves, and we still can redirect our energy and we can create our own path. And all of us have been chosen by Almighty with the same standard. We ourselves are categorizing with the different brands we are wearing, with the different things we are using. But Almighty always created all us same. So
Yep.
I want my young leaders to get enthused by some of my words, and they should make their parents, their society, their girlfriend, their boyfriend feel pride in doing what they will do after this conversation. And Vivas was telling me that lots of good speakers have already given them some good aspects on leadership, on startups, on diversity, on managerial skills. Now, you have all this, and this is not the last conversation you are going to have. There'll be lots of discussions, but you have to filter it and you have to tailor made what is relevant for you and how are you going to take best out of it.
Thank you so much, sir. I think this has been one of the best sessions that we've had during this e-business conclave 2020. All thanks to you, the patience that you have, the kind of energy that you bring in with your words. Everything has been so stupendous that we all enjoyed it thoroughly. I am so happy to tell you that the Spasmodic Group is going to close this e-business conclave 2020 today. So if you have some words for the Spasmodic Group and this business conclave, it would be our pleasure.
So, Vishnu, I will not complain you. You being the host has to talk only the good things about the speech, no matter how boring it was. You will say this was the best ever I have come across. But forget about all these jokes. The reality is that I chose the last session with your group just to leave with you some food for thought, right? I'm not a genius, but yes, as a human, I'm trying to invest in myself. I'm a very God loving person. I want to love human as a race. Guys, please take this corona pandemic as an opportunity to unlearn some of our mistakes. We've been overdoing, we've been interfering in the nature. And this is how nature will give us back. And we will have no clue, no science and medicine of the world is able to contain it, which is fine. They are developing, but 2020 is gone. It will become a 0 year. This is the time when you will have to reinvent yourself. You are all confined, having a social distancing, no party. So let's reinvest some time on our own individual personality. What do you want to do in your life? How do you want to do in your life? I've tried to trigger some of the bullet points. There are lots of books, lectures, TED Talks, social media, everything is available for you. Whatever you want to drill down, Google more, go and pursue it. But please identify your inner flame, your inner passion. And after 20, 30 years in some of your talks, I'll be very happy to hear that someone told you and now you are passing it on the baton to the others. So good luck. You have a very bright future. You guys will do very well. And I'm sure you will try to understand where I was coming from. I was trying to keep it simple, very basic. I was not trying to bombard you with the jargons that we can do separately later. But all I was trying to encourage you is to ask yourself who you are, what you want to do. Will that give you happiness? What is the definition of happiness? Thanks, Vishnu. That's all from my side.
Thank you so much, sir. It is our pleasure to hear from you and hoping forward to see you in the campus as well. We hope that once things get normal, we can invite you to interact with students physically. I am hoping that all your endeavors that you're going to carry forward in the future as well are going to be successful. You have that charm, you have that energy around with you, and I'm pretty sure that everywhere you step in, it's going to be gold or diamond. Thank you so much, sir. This is Vishnu signing off. Looking forward to see you again somewhere in this phase of life. Thank you once again for all the words, and a big thanks to all the Spasmodic group as well, group members as well. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to interact with such big, eminent personalities. If we have any higher dignitaries as well who are present out here, thank you so much for your presence. We are hoping that everything is going to be fine soon, normal soon, and we're going to meet you all again. That's it from today. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great time ahead. Stay safe.